Chapter 1. The Silence of the Dopey One. In 1880s Munich, a young boy named Albert sat in the corner of his family's apartment, staring at a compass. His father, Hermann, had given it to him to distract him from a bout of illness. To any other 5-year-old, it was a toy. To Albert, it was a crisis of reality. Why did the needle move? What invisible force was pulling it? This was a child who did not speak until he was nearly 4. His parents, terrified of a developmental disability, watched him whisper every sentence to himself under his breath before saying it aloud. The family maid dubbed him, Der Depperte, the dopey one. In school, the Prussian style of education, rote memorization, military-style discipline, and unquestioned authority, felt like a mental prison. Albert was the slow kid who asked annoying questions. One day, his Greek teacher, exasperated by Albert's smirk and lack of interest in memorizing verbs, snapped, "Einstein, you will never amount to anything. Your presence here undermines the class's respect for me." The lesson. Einstein wasn't slow, he was processing. He refused to accept information without understanding the mechanism behind it. Chapter 2. The High School Dropout. By 16, Einstein's life looked like a series of retreats. His father's business failed, and the family moved to Italy, leaving Albert behind in Munich to finish school. He hated it so much he suffered a nervous breakdown, convinced a doctor to write him a medical note, and dropped out to join his parents. He was a high school dropout with no diploma and no plan. When he finally tried to take the entrance exam for the Swiss Federal Polytechnic, he failed. He crushed the math and physics sections, but he flunked botany, zoology, and languages. He was sent back to a small town called Aarau to finish high school. To the world, Albert was a drifter. To Albert, he was finally free. In Aarau, he performed his first thought experiment: what would it look like to ride alongside a beam of light? Chapter 3. The Unemployable Graduate. Even after finally getting into the Polytechnic in Zurich, Einstein's rebellious streak cost him. He cut classes to study the new physics on his own in coffee shops. He insulted the prestigious Professor Heinrich Weber by calling him Herr Weber instead of Herr Professor. When graduation came in 1900, the consequences were brutal. Every single one of his classmates was offered a teaching assistantship. Einstein was the only one left behind. For the next 2 years, he was a ghost in the academic world. He wrote desperate letters to professors across Europe begging for work. No one replied. His father wrote a letter to a famous professor, essentially begging for a job for his unlucky son. Again, silence. Albert began to believe he was a failure. He took odd jobs as a substitute teacher, often getting fired or leaving because he couldn't stand the curriculum. Chapter 4. The Cloister of the Patent Office. In 1902, Einstein finally landed a job as a technical expert third class at the Swiss Patent Office. His father died shortly after, believing his son was a failure. For 8 hours a day, Albert sat at a wooden stand-up desk. He looked at inventions for gravel sorters and electric typewriters. But here is the secret. Einstein learned to do his work in 2 hours. For the other 6, he tucked his physics notes into his drawer. When his boss walked by, he'd slide the scrap paper away and pretend to look at blueprints. He called the office his worldly cloister. It was here, in the silence of obscurity, far from the pressure of publish or perish academia, that he began to dismantle the laws of the universe. Chapter 5 to 1905, the Year of the Miracle. Imagine a man who has been rejected by every university, working a dead-end government job, with a new baby at home and a struggling marriage. This man decides to write 4 papers. 1. The first paper. He proved atoms actually exist, Brownian motion. 2. The second paper. He proved light is made of particles, the photoelectric effect, the work that would win him the Nobel Prize. 3. The third paper. He introduced special relativity, proving that time and space are not absolute. 4. The fourth paper. He derived $E equals mc caret $2. He sent these papers to the Annalen der Physik. He didn't have a PhD. He didn't have a lab. He was just a clerk. When the papers were published, the world didn't change overnight. He went back to the patent office the next day and kept checking blueprints. It took years for the experts to realize that a 26-year-old Cirque had just rewritten the rules of reality. Einstein's story isn't about being a genius. It's about cognitive independence. 1. The trap of expert opinion. If Einstein had listened to his teachers, his professors, or the hiring committees that rejected him, he would have spent his life as a bitter, mediocre clerk. The action. Identify one area where you've let authority tell you that you aren't good enough. Burn that label today. Your potential is not a consensus, it is a private discovery. 2. The power of the side hustle. Einstein didn't wait for a physics professor titled to do physics. He did it in the cracks of his day. The action. Stop saying, I don't have time. You have patent office time. Look at your schedule. Where are the 30-minute gaps? Where are the elevator blueprints? You can finish faster so you can get to your real work. Commit to 45 minutes of cloistered time every day for 30 days. 3. Develop holy curiosity. Einstein didn't ask, how can I be famous? He asked, how does light move? He focused on the puzzle, not the prestige. The action. Pick a problem in your life or career that frustrates you. Instead of complaining about it, treat it like a thought experiment. Ask, why? 5 times until you reach the bedrock of the issue. 4. Resilience in the wilderness. Einstein spent nearly a decade being nothing. He felt the sting of poverty and the shame of being a lazy dog. The action. If you are in a wilderness, unemployed, misunderstood, or stuck in a job that feels beneath your talent, do not let your soul go dormant. Your current position is your funding, not your identity. Blank. The universe is waiting for you to ask the right question. Einstein showed us that the most profound secrets aren't hidden in expensive labs. They are hidden in plain sight, waiting for someone with enough stubbornness to keep looking. What is the E=mc² of your life that you haven't written yet? Start the first paragraph tonight. No excuses. No waiting for a degree. No waiting for permission.